All right, so I was looking up how to get some laundry delivered after I get my suit back from the alterations shop, and I went to their website. You can see that their WhatsApp button to contact them says "I'm alone."
Alrighty, so if you recall back to a video, my first vlog that I put out a few months ago, that was actually meant to be the kickstart of a series of vlogs I was going to do, especially starting with the trip I was going to have to Vienna for my buddy Walrus's wedding, which did happen, and it was amazing. And I'll throw some clips up about it in the background here, maybe.
The people that ride the horses, which are like supposed to be Neptune's sons, because you know how mermaids usually have like one tail, right? Brown?
No, that's like a potato. I mean, maybe that's what the hash brown.
But yeah, the whole trip was awesome. However, I learned from that trip that I wasn't very good at vlogging and out in the wild. I recorded quite a few things, but it was not nearly vloggy enough, and I think I'm going to start improving my skills on that in a little while. And I think one of those few things I'm going to improve on is camera and equipment. So I took out I bought a new camera today that I took out on today's hike. I was going to serve as the background of my second vlog, and that is the Insta360 Go Ultra, which is pretty cool because it has this little camera pod that magnetically clips into this pendant that you wear underneath your shirt, so you can have this less conspicuous camera on your chest for all these like long walkways and stuff like that, especially for travel vlogging. Quite good for this stuff. So I took that out for a trial today. I learned from a mistake that I made today, which is I had a jacket on over the shirt that the camera was clipped onto, and that jacket was periodically rubbing against the shirt fabric, and that was causing some scratching noises to leak into the mic. So the audio you get from the actual camera is actually quite okay audio, really good audio in fact, but the scratching noise just ruined everything. So I have all these talking bits from today's recording that I practically can't use because of that issue. So either I'm gonna have to mess with the settings, because there's quite a few audio settings on the camera that maybe can mitigate that sort of thing, or I will have to find some sort of lapel mic combo that will mitigate that issue entirely. So we'll see. Probably a lapel mic would go a long way, especially with those low profile Rode wireless ones. Should go pretty hard. So yeah, enough about that. I want to talk about the purpose of today's video. This is more of an update, less so a vlog. So basically it comes down to big news, big changes. Why there hasn't been other vlogs even after the Vienna trip, right? It's been almost more than half a year since that video. So to explain a few things, let's go through the big news first, and maybe I'll explain everything that led up to it. So the big news is I got a new job, and this new job is relocating me out of Hong Kong to Madrid, Spain. So this is big news. It's not going to happen overnight, but certainly it's happening soon. The wheels are turning, and the process is starting to begin now for my relocation to Spain. So that's the big news. It's the reason behind a lot of my absence on this channel, beyond a few airsoft games, which I'm going to start migrating away from. I'll still do some airsoft videos, but I want to change this channel to something else a bit more engaging for you guys. Anyways, the whole point here being is that's the reason why I've been absent for these past few months. Is just it's been a rat race chasing documents and getting them across the world in multiple directions. And waiting a long time to get these things processed without any help whatsoever from any lawyers. I did this all by myself. There's been no lawyers, no agencies involved, so I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, it's been a rat race to get this all completed, basically. So how did this all start? I went to Vienna and really found that Europe is my kind of speed, or at least it's the speed I want for now in my life. I really enjoyed the the fast moving lifestyle and upward mobility that Asia has to offer. The experiences are quite rare and unique that you'll never really find across the rest of the world. Frankly, it's just a wild place, and I love it. But I'm getting older. I'm 32 now, and I got to start thinking about settling down and whatnot. Certainly a lot more career-minded than I used to be. So now after my trip to Europe, I realized that there's a much slower pace of life, that the work-life balance is not a negotiable part, it is a requirement to do well in life and to do well in your career. And that the culture of wellness is probably something that I need right now in my life. So I came back from Europe motivated, actually, not to leave Hong Kong, but certainly to do more refocused work on myself and in my career to set myself up for settling down. So that was the motivation I came back with. And I believe in coincidences. I believe in coincidences, but I don't believe in miracles. And I feel as though there was a miraculous coincidence that happened to me almost like the day after I got back from Europe on that trip. And that was I had this message on LinkedIn from a competing company to the company I was working for at the time, and they wanted to hire me on for the same role I was doing because they had heard about the work I was doing and wanted to basically steal me away. It was good work, and it was proving itself. And I rejected them, actually. I rejected them outright because I have a non-compete clause and the role was for Hong Kong, and I would just be opening myself up to a lawsuit. So I just rejected them politely and said, sorry, I really can't do it. I have a contract. And it was the CFO that contacted me, so I knew it was serious business. And it didn't feel like a sale. And he said, well, okay, fine. If it can't happen, it can't happen, but I'd love to meet up and just chit chat. We can, just talk. And Hong Kong is that type of culture, that type of city where, networking is everyday culture, everyday life. You don't say no to an invite like that. There's always a reason to talk to somebody, and nobody wants to waste their time in Hong Kong. So when they want to talk to you, it's usually about something either serious or something, beneficial for both parties. So you always want to take those opportunities in Hong Kong. If there's any advice I have for people moving to Hong Kong, take those opportunities to talk to people that you've never met before. If they seem on the up and up, go talk to them. It's well worth your time. So I did that. I went out to meet this CFO guy, and we were just chatting. There was no expectation over hiring me anymore. It was just a regular networking conversation. I shared what I knew, what I could talk about, was allowed to talk about, and he did the same, and just kind of exchanging views on because we were nominally looking over the same strategies for both companies. So we're like two sides of the same coin basically, and we're just trying to measure each other. I'm not sure what happened, but the conversation was talking. We somehow got to a point where we were talking about my trip to Europe and all my life plans and what Europe had motivated me to start thinking about. He's like, I saw this like light bulb metaphorically turn on in his head, and he's like, well, working in Hong Kong is a no-go, but what if we hired you in our new Spain office? And then the light bulb went off in my head. I was like, oh, okay. That's actually something, because the contract's not in Hong Kong, and because it's not in Hong Kong, it's basically it's not unenforceable. You can sue contracts across borders, but two things, right? You're gonna try to sue an American citizen in Europe for a contract in Hong Kong. The cost related to the logistics of that lawsuit to begin with are astronomically high. And then secondarily, the EU is more protective of its workers' rights than most places in the world, to the degree that basically it's unenforceable for someone in my role. So my role is related to, marketing and growth, right? So this is commercial knowledge I deal with. I don't deal with any IP information. I don't deal with any corporate secrets that could be protected under EU non-compete clauses, because non-compete clauses do exist in the EU. They're not non-existent. It's just that they're harder to enforce, and for my role would be impossible to enforce, because my entire point of my role is to deal in commercial knowledge, bring knowledge to market. There's nothing I know at any company I work for that couldn't be discovered by competitors, because my whole job is to put it out to market. So for a EU judge to have that come across their desk, it would just get thrown out immediately. So basically, everything was in the clear to move to Spain, because then I could join that company. And I had other reasons to leave the current company I was at the time. We won't get into that. But basically, it was like it was just an opportunity that I think we both didn't realize was at our fingertips. I don't think we realized how difficult it would be to actually get me to go to Spain. The company is not new to relocating employees, but American citizens are a different bag of beans, and getting an American to go to the EU, that's even harder, because when you're talking about EU citizens, and we're talking about the EU work visas, Western citizens are hard pressed to get those, because practically speaking, when you talk about a work visa in Europe, you have to prove that your role isn't going to replace the role of another EU citizen. This is a big union. There are many millions of people with skills and seniority over me that could easily do my job. But that's not everything that's measured in the case of EU work visas, in particular what's called the EU Blue Card visa. I'll talk about it in a minute. But basically, to get that kind of support and get that kind of opportunity is kind of difficult, to the degree that you have to really prove these things and show that, hey, my employee that I'm relocating, they're not taking the role of, EU citizen because of this and that reason. It's pretty tough on the academic front, in the skills front, because I'm sure there's people with academics and skills far beyond it that I can even match up to. I come from a state school in, South Florida. I'm practically a nobody in the world of AI, which is the industry I work in. So it's not on that front that I would win a work visa, but it's the front that I come from a unique background in two directions. One, I've been involved in AI from the East and the West. And I've been involved in AI since before the GPT craze came around, when things were based on neural networks and confidence scoring. So a lot of my experience with AI is unique because I was in the industry before the current models came out. So I know the trials and tribulations of a lot of these companies building their own. We didn't call them models before, we called them neural networks. I'm sure deeper AI companies would call them models up to 20 years ago, but for AI startups before OpenAI was a thing, or rather ChatGPT was a thing, then I would say that it was all based on neural networks, and so I've been through that ringer a bit. Natural language processors and everything that preceded LLMs. So all of these things were all the technologies that I was building on before. And then also, having been based in Asia for 10 years, particularly China and Hong Kong, I also have that experience of being there at the ground level with both Western and Asia, Chinese really, AI models that were burgeoning before they even went to markets to the rest of the world. So that is the legs that I'm standing on in the face of an EU visa application. So I'm not going up there and saying, hey, I come from Harvard, or hey, I have all this experience at Google. I don't have that on my resume. I don't have that capability to go there and say, hey, I'm beating everyone hand over fist because I'm just better than them. I'm going there and saying, hey, I have something unique to bring to the European Union. It's a perspective, it's a background, and it's an experience that is not non-existent, but certainly rare to the degree that you're just not going to find it easily across the Union. And for a company like the one I had joined, with roots in China, with roots in Singapore, tech scenes. Having worked in that area provides the company confidence that not only am I able to do the job at hand in Europe, but to be able to collaborate very smoothly and synchronously and asynchronously with the main offices in Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Singapore. So being able to, it isn't just like a language barrier thing, it's a cultural barrier thing, right? So when we talk about these roles, it's very hard to find someone that can do both. Basically, it's the best phrase I can use for this. Is I can do both, right? I can do the Western startup mentality. I can do the Chinese startup mentality. I know the kind of hunger for innovation that exists in both sides, and how the approach is meant to take place. And if this wasn't enough for an EU visa, it also comes from my startup experience. So, also startups are not another rare thing in Europe. There's plenty of startups in Europe. But what you don't have a lot of is a lot of people who have lived through many funding rounds, growth stages at startups that I have been through. So I've been from companies as small as 4 people bootstrapped to as big as Series B companies. So, and having experienced what it takes to go through those phases, I think is also a rare skill set, because that's a level of experience that's very hard to both quantify and qualify. It's more of a mindset that you need to kind of assess in somebody who says they can do these sorts of things, because there's a different mentality in strategy and go-to-market strategy when you think about, let's say, what it takes to get from a seed-funded startup to a Series A, or from Series A to Series B. And having been through those phases has been something I've gotten used to quite readily, because I've been through it quite a few times actually. I've been from from angel round all the way to Series B, I think 3 times in my career. So I've seen companies grow from 20 people up to 200 people, up to 300 people. So this is I wouldn't call it a skill set, but it's certainly a mindset that's rare to find among people in the startup community, because usually if somebody is going through growth phases, they either phase out, or they, as is the Asian culture, is to phase people out and get in a new blood for the new phase, or phased up, which is the Western mentality of growing up with the company, which I never worked in the West before, so I never grew up with that company through those funding rounds, and I also never got phased out either, because I would just jump ship basically at that point. So I very rapidly got used to this funding round prep, I would say. So that also goes a long way to presenting my case to the EU that I'm one of a kind, of a few kinds, I suppose. I'm not like the only person with this experience out there, but it's certainly to the degree that it's just not easy to find in Europe, and that hopefully is going to carry my case through. And I've been going on about this for a while now, but I just want to impress the importance of my case being unique, because normally speaking, Western citizen is really not going to get a raw work visa in Europe right off the bat. Typically what happens is most expats from the US or other Western countries like Canada, other Western countries that want to go to Europe, or to the EU in particular, they really have to prove that they aren't going to take the role of somebody else local to the EU, but also that it's just harder. It's just really harder. Most of the cases that people moving to the EU do is that they'll find some sort of scheme or some pathway to getting a work visa. So they do like working holiday visa and then find a job, or they'll do the digital nomad visa and then they'll found a company, register one in the local country that they're at, and then they'll start up an office, and then that gets them an entrepreneur visa or some equivalent visa for Europe. So there are ways to get work visas, but they're kind of wish-washy and a little bit circuitous. They're not fake, work visas. I'm sure these people work hard, but to get a work visa right off the bat before you move there, right, a proper relocation with full visa support, that's very rare, actually, for Western citizens outside the EU trying to get into the EU. It just doesn't happen. The only times it happens is when you get executives really and C-level leadership to get support from their company for like what's essentially an internal relocation. So yeah, anyways, that's been a roller coaster of a ride. And then getting to the point where I can actually submit my application, which I haven't done yet. I'll get into why in a minute. But basically it's because, particularly as an American citizen trying to get your documents ready for the EU, it's interesting because we have to do something called apostilling, which is a requirement for the EU for all countries in the world. But the apostilling process in the US is particularly painful because they pretty much have to go through whatever jurisdiction the document came from. So in my case, I was born in Maryland, so I had to apostille my birth certificate out of Maryland State Department. And then I got my degree in Florida, so I had to get my degree apostilled from the Florida State Department. And I had to do my FBI background check, which had to go through the US State Department and out of Washington, D.C. So all of those, and apostilling just basically means notarizing from a government level, whatever. So to get those apostilles done was a pain in the ass. It cost a ton of money, and I'm not there. So thankfully I have my parents there, so they were able to collect everything back home. But then I live in Hong Kong, and because the apostilling agreement with The Hague stretches on to other countries, not just the US, all countries basically, I had to also do all that same apostilling in Hong Kong. So I had to apostille stuff in Hong Kong, I had to apostille stuff in Florida, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., get that all sent back to my home in Florida, and now I have to go fly to Florida, pick up my documents, go to Spain, submit them in person, and then fly back to Hong Kong and wait for approval. It's a pain in the ass. At least we're at the point where things can just start happening, but to do all the apostilling, to request documents online, pay for them, get them notarized, sent to my parents send out to apostille them, get them sent back to them, all that was just such a pain. And then for certain things across the border as well, I had to get my fingerprints taken in Hong Kong and sent to the FBI. Normally what you would do in the US is you would just go to a facility, all states have them, all major cities have them in the US, where you just go do your fingerprints on a digital scanner and you can get your background check almost done immediately the same day. That's the system in the US. But when you're outside the US, you have to get your fingerprints rolled on ink at the police station, on an FBI fingerprint card. Then you have to send that card in the mail, which takes many weeks to get to the FBI headquarters, and they have to go do that, and that takes even longer. So it took a long time to get all these documents ready because it was just such a pain in the ass. But it took even longer than usual for a lot of these documents, especially the FBI background documents, because Elon Musk's Doge Department of Government Efficiency came in and wiped the floor with the federal government and just basically fired half the workers, which meant that my apostilles for my fingerprint background checks for both Hong Kong, not both Hong Kong, for my fingerprints for the US criminal background check should have taken 4 to 8 weeks, and then it instead took 12 to 16 weeks. So this took way longer than it should have, for literally no reason. But at least it's over. I have all my documents ready, and now comes the next step, which is I get to go to Spain, which is fun because I've never been to Spain before. So I'm being relocated to a country I've never been before. Not my first time, but very happy to do so. And this month, I think the plan now is I fly back to the US, see my parents. Haven't seen them for 2 years, so I should go say hi, pick up my documents, and then with my documents fly over to Spain, submit my documents in person, Now, I could do my documents out of Hong Kong through the Spanish consulate, but I found out that the consulate is super slow, and it would take, I think, 4 to 5 months to process my visa. Whereas if I go to Madrid and submit it to the government in person, it takes like 4 to 6 weeks. So that just makes sense. I'll pony up the money for a flight to Madrid. It gives me two options. And two opportunities. I mean, give me one. The first opportunity is just to get my work permit done faster, so I can just get it over with. And then two is basically I get to go see Madrid and check it out before I move there. Give me a chance to. Sorry, I'm yawning, but I just got back home after the hike that you see on this B-roll in the background. But anyways, yeah, it'll give me the opportunity to go check out Madrid, see a few apartments before I get there. Maybe even rent an apartment before I'm prepared. We'll see what the apartment renting process looks like over there. But yeah, that'll give me a chance to kind of set some roots down even before I officially move over. So that'll be cool. So that's the whole story, man. I think that's the whole reason why I haven't been able to do any vlogs lately, is just getting all this stuff prepared has been such a pain, and it's certainly not you know, the typical excuse that people use, I think, when it comes to missing out on videos on YouTube. I did really truly want to do like a series of vlogs, starting with that one that I did a few months ago, but it just didn't pander out. But hopefully now that, one, I've got new camera equipment to work with, and two, I've got actually a lot of moving parts that are, you know, all the bureaucratic, boring stuff is over with, and now comes the fun part of moving and getting relocated. I think I've got a lot more material to actually start using for more vlogs in the future. So stay tuned, subscribe, like this video, like other my videos. I'll still do some airsoft videos here and there. I'll probably get into airsoft when I move to Spain. But I'll do some more stuff like this just to show the process of, you know, being relocated, you know, all this other cool stuff. So I'm not your typical creator. I'm not going to do heavy edits on these things. I'm going to keep it as raw as possible until I have the time to actually start learning how to edit videos. But basically, I'm just going to tell you how things are, how things is, and just show you how I do things, you know, in my life. I think it's going to be pretty entertaining. I think we'll go through quite a few things together, quite a few changes coming up, so I'm sure there's quite a lot of ups and downs to come. So stay tuned. I think the next video I'll talk about a bit more about the trip to Vienna, and then wrap up that whole story piece that I haven't really touched on in this video. And then from then on, I think it'll be mostly about getting prepared to move, my trip back home and everything. So yeah, I think we're gonna have quite a bit of material to put up on this channel. So yeah, stick around if you like this sort of thing, and I'll keep up the good work if I can. All right, cheers, and I'll catch you all in the next video.
What would you do if I just jumped?